I'm going to yell about diminished stuff for the next 9 minutes because I had a student who canceled, and I'm going to use the remaining time of that supposed session to talk about diminished stuff because I've been wanting to do that. Anyways, fair warning, I'm going to skip over probably a lot of things. So if you don't know about diminished scales or diminished harmony or music theory in a jazz context, etc., we refer to some of my other videos or go poking around. So you see a diminished chord symbol in a lead sheet. Let's say it's rhythm changes or the blues is a great example. Let's say we're in the key of B flat. You're often going to see this E diminished. This is a sharp 4 diminished. So you have in the 6th measure, that E diminished, sharp 4 diminished, is often going to come up, and that resolves to B flat. This is a hairy one because it kind of doesn't make any sense. This also shows up in Doxy and really quite a lot of tunes. E diminished resolving to B flat. Well, it sounds like tension release, right? But it's not a 5-1. It's not dominant to tonic. And it's not even related to F7. Right? F7 is the 5 of B flat. F7 shares literally none of the notes of E diminished 7. So what the hell is happening? This is an internal common tone resolution. I say internal because it's the same chord root resolving into itself. So dig this. I've got E diminished, E, G, B flat, D flat. If you know anything about diminished chords, it's symmetrical. They're all minor thirds. E to G, G to B flat to D flat, all minor thirds apart. Which means any of those notes can be the root, right? All the inversions are symmetrical, so E diminished is D flat diminished is B flat diminished is G diminished. So if I start moving this around, I get B flat diminished. That's my home chord in the key of B flat. So if my home chord is B flat major or B flat dominant 7, I'm really playing B flat diminished to B flat 7. Now that makes a lot more sense because I've got 2 notes that are the same. B flat, just kidding, 1 note's the same, B flat, and these 3 notes literally move up a half step. So that's the resolution there. A half step resolution, stepwise resolution is always going to be pleasing and always going to be fair game. But that same root sort of tethers us and gives us this different type of tension release that is not dominant tonic based. Now, again, it's confusing because we see it as E diminished going to B flat 7 or B flat major. So it's not as obvious that it's a lot closer than you think. Because E to B flat, that's like literally the halfway point of our musical alphabet. That's like a far jump, so to speak. But really, if we translate this as a B flat diminished 7, it's super close to home. To go over each note, G resolves to A flat of a B flat 7. D flat resolves to the major 3rd. D and E resolves to the 5th. So the G resolves to the flat 7. The D flat resolves to the 3rd. The E resolves up to the 5th. Literally up a half step. Super cool. So, what can you play over this? The sort of classic, well, one classic move is, of course, well, let me play my diminished scale. If you have a diminished chord symbol, the scale you'll play from the root, E, is E whole half diminished. even gonna really talk about that. And you see, I even messed it up. There's lots of patterns that work out. I have one fucking measure to articulate this chord change, right? It's B flat 7, E flat 7, E diminished for one measure, then we're back to home. Like, what the fuck? We all try to just shove in the diminished thing, and that's fine. Sometimes it's super cool, but often we like miss it by a fret, or we like get lost somewhere and like, so I don't get it. So here's a hack. Your home chord, B flat. Play a major triad a half step down. A major. Trust me on this. A major is found within this whole E diminished land. I won't get into the theory of that, but A major, that's the hack. Whenever you have your sharp 4 diminished, play a half step down from your home chord. So you're really targeting, the tonic by going a half step down and resolving up. So I'm going to make a little loop here and you'll hear this. So I've got a loop basically over measures 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the blues. I know it's kind of wonky, but I have limited time for myself right now. So I'm going to go B flat 7, then a quick 2, 5 to E flat 7, and then E diminished 7 for measure and back to 1. Right here. Whoa, that fits fucking perfectly. All I'm thinking is A major down a half step from my root. Now, that'll get us by. That's a really classic kind of gospel sound, really. You hear this in Hymn to Freedom by Oscar Peterson, or he's in this exact key, and he uses that type of vibe. So you can really think of this as an A7 at this point. So if you want to add an extra note for a little more color, play an A7. So now we're going to add G. A7, A, C sharp, E, G. Again, these are all notes that are found in the E whole half diminished scale. So it's all kosher. And again, any of those notes are going to resolve up. Resolve to the 5 of the 1, resolve to the 3rd, resolve to the root, resolve to the 9. There's all sorts of options, but that A7 is going to be fantastic over that sharp 4 diminished. I'm out of time now. One last thing as I'm wrapping up. Remember, sharp 4 diminished is 1 diminished. So we're targeting 1 by going 1 diminished to 1. That's the thing. And this is also flat 3 diminished. So anytime you see a flat 3 or sharp 2 diminished, which happens a lot, this is the same concept. That's the second most common diminished I think you're often going to see is the flat 2, or the flat 3 diminished in a harmonic context in standards. Hope this helped a little bit. I know it was pretty quick fire. I'll do more about diminished harmonies, etc. But I've always wanted to throw a video out there about the sharp 4 diminished concept, because it's one that shows up all the time in tons of tunes and scenarios, but it's not often discussed why it works and why it's such an idiomatic element of this harmonic language.